Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new video of Shogun 2 Total War. So in this one I was playing as the Takeda clan and I was up against the Hatorai. I believe that's how you say it. So I'm going to start this off kind of differently. I'm actually going to start off with the enemy's composition first and then go to the to mine. So first and foremost we had, I'm going to go in slow-mo actually just to make it a bit easier. So we've got a couple of generals in here. I think we had two, or I could be wrong, but I'm sure there was two generals in this one. Okay, yeah, maybe it was just one general. So yeah, so we had the general, which obviously horseback, some Yari Ashigaru, some more which were based from the garrison. Got a set of bow Ashigaru up here, katana samurai, more katana samurai, more katana samurai. Yeah, quite a few. I think it altogether was 4. Yeah, and then Ashigaru, and then there was of course the retainers, and I think it was 3 sets of bow Ashigaru, I think. So 1 and 2, yeah, it was 3. So it's a decent set army, but this one actually became interesting because a lot of my units weren't amazing. So I decided to bring, I think it was 5 sets of bow Ashigaru and a set of bow samurai in this army composition. I also have 2 sets of Yari samurai at the back here. Got 4 units of Yari Ashigaru. I've got my general, which is on light horseback. 2 sets of katana samurai. Oh, sorry, 3 sets of katana samurai. I swear I had a... here they are, Yari samurai. I also have my Yari samurai over here. And, yep, there's more Yari samurai. So these 2 were injured quite badly in another one. Which, if you go over to my live... my lives folder, you'll find that I played this with Wolf's Web, and you can go over there. You could probably watch all of them. I think maybe one of them did get taken down, but it was mostly due to the fact that a lot of it just wasn't really fun to watch. It was basically just micromanaging everything. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and we've already got set of fire coming off of this bow Ashigaru right here, firing straight into the Yari Ashigaru. So I'm going to play it in normal speed. So my basic way of doing this for this type of game was going in and firing as many arrows as possible to just basically whittle down all the enemy. Pardon me. And to stay away from, oh, here comes fire arrows. Fire arrows coming in from every single one of my bow Ashigaru. Yeah, my bow Ashigaru. And then of course they're still trying to kill off these guys. I set them on loose. Oh no, I didn't set them on loose, but I did set them to just auto fire, because there were a lot of enemy over in this location. I thought at that point that it would probably be better to just let them just basically batter them up a bit. So we're going to have a look at what the enemy's done so far, which obviously it's not amazing. We are going up against AI, but the AI have this weird pattern of trying to keep things away from the battle line, which I did think was a bit odd. Especially when I was first playing this game a long time ago, and now that I look at it, I realise that bowmen are pretty much about 50% of all my armies now. If not 60 to 70%, because most of the time bowmen are actually pretty good, especially in siege battles. Don't need to worry about fire bombers in this one, thankfully. I've got a bit of a issue with them. And then of course we've got the enemy general. Enemy general decided that he wanted to jump in and, you know, kill all of his men off, which was stupid of him. And the best part about it is that the enemy just kept running their troops up to here. So I didn't see any need to piss about. I found a lot of it it was quite sadistic of me to just use my bowmen in this way, but it was the best way to save up on troops and not lose too many. And the other part was that this archer group here just didn't have the range. I think their range got up to about here. I never moved any of my troops that close, and plus later on you'll see that I'm going to do a different move with a couple of my units, because I see an opening, and anyone who's already seen the map will already know, and will have also noticed where I went last time while I was looking at some of the troops as well, like the troop patterns and telling you which troops were which and how many they had. So for right now, this just becomes a bloodbath. Every single part of it, absolutely disgusting. So enemy units, they'd lost so many by the time that we had already started to fire. And the fact that I still have a ton of arrows left because of all the research that I had done, we end up having, I think it was 50% more than usual, I think. So we had a couple more volleys to go in. We just kept going at it. So yeah, this is a nice little spot for us. The enemy AI seems to put themselves into this little predicament. Obviously a couple of their men are absolutely beaten. Plus we get to have a little view on how awesome it looks for all these arrows just come flying down. It's actually quite cinematic. I love it. But yeah, these katana samurai are getting absolutely butchered by my archers. Obviously my archers are going to miss a few times because when enemies run and the archers have already fired, then, well, it usually ends up meaning that it'll go for the somewhat the exact same space as where the enemy had run from. Obviously when they fired last time, they actually fired all over, so it's more of a wide sit area. And there we go, one of my units has already used every single bit of its ammunition, which in all honesty is quite good actually. So if you have a look here, we've probably already slaughtered about nearly 50%, roughly. I'd probably say about 50%. So we started off this battle, it's about even, but this one, it just came to me and I just thought, I need to record this one. Do a little commentary on if anyone's still playing Shogun 2. This is just an absolutely brilliant game. I mean, obviously it's got its quirks, but the quirks are some of the best parts. So this lot, they just fired the fire arrows with the second unit to run out of ammo. I believe it with these guys anyway. There were a couple of units that actually ran out. The unit that ran out previously had been firing the longest, I believe. And plus their aim, it wasn't great because a lot of them weren't actually up to snuff. Oh, here we've got another volley coming in. That volley's going to miss. They were lucky because I think that was Yeah, I think this was the bow samurai. They were the only one that actually took damage in my previous battle, which unfortunately I won't be showing because it wasn't that fun. Apart from a little cav charge that one of the enemy had, I believe. But here is where I found out their area of fire. So obviously going to lose a couple of men here. It's unfortunate because I didn't realise that the fire perimeter was here. So, but we worked it out. I only lost 6 troops, which isn't too bad to be fair, considering we've just butchered. Well, all of these were quite clear cut. We pretty much killed off these retainers, the katana samurais, 2 squads of them as well, 3 squads actually. Then of course I just let the boy samurai come in and clean up the rest. So this is roughly where I begin to change my tact. So obviously we'll just keep watching this, but if you keep an eye on the map, you'll see soon enough that I'm going to start pushing troops up into this direction here. But obviously I'm going to keep the majority of my men here for the time being, just to try and keep them occupied, make them think that we're going to attack here straight away, when in reality we're not going to. Obviously we've got the general who's already wavering, got a bunch of men already wavering. We've done so much damage just with bowmen. I mean,
one of our units has used all its ammunition, my lord.
And these guys are going to be out now. Yeah. Yeah. So I believe that is actually all of my archers out. But as you can tell, we absolutely massacred them here just with archer fire. Yeah. The general didn't actually die. Their general survived all the archer volleys, which really surprised me. So obviously we can see a couple of the bodies that we may or may not have slaughtered just with archer fire, and we've only lost 6 men to their probably about 600. I think it's about 600. Actually no, it might be less than that, thinking about it. Yeah, roughly. Yeah, probably about 600, thinking about it. There were quite a few units on this battlefield. Then of course here come my Yari Ashigaru, and here is the army I was on about. So, well, 2 units. And then of course I've got my other 2 more depleted Yari Samurai going with them as well. So I'm sending up these 4 units, and I'm going to send them the long way around to come down to here. So obviously for this part of time I'm just going to cut from here, and hopefully you guys will see the next part. Okay, so welcome back. So for everyone who obviously isn't going to see this part, I think about 12 to 13 enemy units came out, but they were all routing, so I'd put my Yari Ashigaru up thinking that maybe the enemy was going to, you know, rush out and try to attack me, but instead they didn't. And now that you can see it, I have all 4 of my units here, of my Yari Samurai, sorry, based attacking this back gate here, because for some reason the enemy didn't see me coming. So I went, right, okay, burn this down, get my men through, and rush straight for this archer tower here, because that's going to be my main problem. I was thinking of keeping one of my archers just to be able to burn this one down as well. It didn't happen the way I wanted it to, for obvious reasons. And of course we've got the second gates to try and get through as well. So I went, right, okay, screw it, what we'll do instead, is we'll move up to here, capture this archer tower here, and take it so we have a bit of an advantage when we go up with my Yari Ashigaru from behind. And then of course I brought in all my troops a lot closer to the area now, so my guys had a bit of backup, and plus it keeps the morale up as well because the general's not far behind. And obviously I didn't know this at first, mostly because I didn't really understand the full mechanics of the morale system in this, and now I've figured it out a bit better. Obviously I knew that the general had to be alive, but I didn't think the general being close would actually not only increase, but even outside of his radius, which isn't big if I think about it. I think it's only about this, maybe a little bit more.
We have captured their tower.
They still actually have about a good, well, in theory, probably about this much space that increases their troops' morale as well. So obviously I didn't really think of it that way. Obviously we've taken over the archer tower, as you heard previously. I put my guys into the quick run, which is one of their abilities, which the Yari Samurai have, which is a brilliant ability which increases their movement speed and also helps. Obviously it fatigues them a little bit, but it doesn't actually do as much fatigue as you think. So obviously use these guys, get them all the way around, take this out, and obviously because there's only one point to actually capture these towers, the enemy would either have to burn them down or retake them. The enemy didn't bother burning it down or retaking it, they were too busy focusing on here. And until all of my troops started moving in, so from this point here, nothing changed. The enemy just stayed in this, I wouldn't even call it a defensive formation. Half of their troops were aiming the wrong way, and then of course fleeing at the sight of any other troops. Pardon me. And then of course we also had the archer problem, which I knew would be a big problem if I just pushed all my men in straight away. So instead of doing that, I went, right, okay, bring in all my Yari Samurai, bring them up into this point here. We'll get one of them to attack here, and then the other three to go over there. Obviously the plan wasn't perfect, because the enemy actually started to push their men back. So I then decided, screw this, instead of just pushing in my two, I'm going to push in all of them straight away, get them ready so we can charge the archers, because these archers are pulled back. So then of course we've captured their attention here. We've now got more Yari Ashigaru pushing in, and we've got another two fresh troops, well, eager troops should I say. My fresh troops are here, more eager more than anything. They're a bit winded, but obviously that's going to be a bit of a point, because they've just ran all the way across the map. So yeah, got these guys pushing in. Obviously I had a lot of troops, and this is where I figured it out afterwards. More reinforcements also increases morale for the troops, so I pushed in more. Obviously tiredness and anything of that nature is obviously going to put the morale down of troops as well. So then of course I pushed in my Yari Ashigaru. Obviously my men do try to start running, but all I really needed to do was just damage them for the moment and kind of scare them off a bit. My men kept bringing themselves back in, so the morale wavered a bit, then they'd start winning again, then they'd lose again. It just became that big deal. Then of course, obviously I didn't get to these guys quick enough. We got a good few of them, as you can see, but unfortunately a bunch of my men decided to run. It was bound to happen, but we needed to do enough damage to them to at least reduce their archer number and archer capability, because their archers would have been too much of a pain. So then of course I started bringing in the rest of my troops, or I will do in a moment. I wanted to bring in what I had here for the time being, because I needed something to take this so that we could start firing on the archers. Full unit pretty much ran, and that was because at this point in time my general was still outside, so was the majority of my army. I knew it wasn't possible to keep the morale up, so obviously I started pushing in every single troop I had. I gave them somewhat of a placement, and then we started going for this castle gate right here. Obviously some more of my Yari samurai are retreating, but these bowmen are now taking a beating thanks to me taking both of these towers. So now of course we're getting into the very final stages of the battle, bringing in the majority of my troops into the courtyard, and then also bringing in my general. I think I kept him roughly around here behind the rest of my units. Even brought in my archers, because if I did start running out of troops, which I knew I wasn't going to, but let's say for safe sake it did happen, then I can use my bowmen as well as a mere infantry. So then of course these guys are still looking after this, because we were having a little skirmish with them. Obviously, as you can see, a few of them died here, a couple of them still groaning like little wimps, and then it came to here. It was getting rid of the rest of these guys, but they kept pissing about. So I had these guys come up to try and burn this gate down, but obviously I couldn't burn it down because it was open. So one of my guys tries to burn the actual gate down, so the actual gatehouse in the wall itself, which was weird. And then of course now you see it, trying to burn it, but obviously it's not going to burn because it's not open. It is not open, it's not closed, so you know, it's a bit of an odd one with this. Obviously these archers are now getting absolutely peppered. They've got 3 units left, 4, 3, oh, yeah, there we go, there's his third. My bow Ashigaru, I decided to push up to try and bring them up onto here and rush round to attack the enemy archers from the back. No more enemy over here. And of course, we've pretty much won now, but I was having a bit of a problem because this fecking gate wouldn't open. So at this point in time it allowed me to push through, but only a quarter of my troops got through, which really aggravated me because the other half are right here. I think some of them are around here as well, like 1 or 2 of them are around here. Not all 118 got through. So yeah, I told them to charge up. They've now decided to attack these guys, but they're going to start breaking because they don't have the support. And then of course you open the gates again, close the gates, tried burning them down, it just wouldn't burn down at any point at all. These guys stopped climbing for a moment, so I had to then re-get them to push them up. And finally I got the rest of my Katana Samurai up here, and just in time for this to burn down and these guys to start breaking, which was really awkward. Obviously we've got some more Katana Samurai here that got through but didn't do any killing because obviously the enemy gates are closed. And then here comes the end. So Katana Samurai came up. We had our Bow Ashigaru coming up here to try and creep round, but for some reason the AI pathfinding in this is not perfect, as most Total War games are. And then thankfully the Katana Samurai came in and finished off these 2 last Bow Ashigaru, which were both garrison unit. Oh no, sorry, one was a garrison unit, the other one wasn't. And yeah, at one point we did end up killing their general. It was kind of an awkward attack because I think it was somewhere around here. I think it might have been that guy, or it could have been a bit further up. Yeah, I think it was one of those guys over here. So yeah. So that was the end of it. So see if we can have a look at the list. I don't think the list comes up on this one, if I remember right. But yeah, it was a very interesting match. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, boys are more my thing for Shogun 2. Couldn't think for a moment. Oh, here we go. Brilliant. So it was duration 30 minutes. Obviously, you won't get the full 30 minutes because some of it was literally just waiting. But he only killed 569 of the troops. The rest of the troops that were actually killed were by the arch towers. Yeah, it was just by the arch towers. And obviously they lost about just over 100 troops in, well, due to their own arch towers, thankfully. So their arch towers were really helpful. We had more troops in them, but they had the defenders point, which actually gave them quite a good benefit, because he had 2 arch towers. Of course, he also had 3 sets of archers, 4 sets of katana, 3 sets of katana, and I think it was 4 sets of Yari Ashigaru and a set of their general unit. And then of course I had a full 20 set stack. Obviously some were injured from a previous battle, but yeah, I absolutely enjoyed this video. Can have a look at the unit statistics. So the Katana Samurai did decent, not amazing, but you know, I didn't really use them for that. The Yari Samurai, the 4 units I brought in, did a decent job because they were there to pretty much attack the enemy archers. And then of course we've got the Bow Samurai, absolutely brilliant, 142 killed, brilliant shooting. They only lost 7 troops, 6 of them were because of archer fire. 7th one, I think it was just from the archer town before we took it over. Or it might have even been due to another archer attack. Here we go, Bo Ashigaru. These are my top players. So we got 2 at 101, 1 at 103, 112, and then obviously 120, which is a full set. I think it's a full... Oh no, sorry, it's nearly a full set of Yari Ashigaru. Obviously, the majority of these kills would probably be more towards the Katana Samurai, which I think hold 120. Yep, 120 units. So they literally killed an entire unit of Hatarai Katana Samurai. Absolutely brilliant work. Absolutely proud of them. And yeah, the enemy did quite well, to be fair. Bowman did quite well. Obviously, we killed off a couple of them before they could even start. Pardon me, the Yari Ashigaru garrison didn't get anything. The Yari Ashigaru from the enemy army didn't kill anyone, lost everyone. And then of course we've got the 1 set of Katana Samurai, which we absolutely decimated right at the start. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate everything that you guys do for me. And I'd also like to say that obviously I know that I don't do a lot of videos. Well, I do a lot of videos, I just don't edit them or have enough time to post them. So my thing at the moment is I've actually got a lot more free time because it's coming up to Christmas. So do expect more videos. Obviously I'm not going to keep a schedule, there's no point, because obviously my work schedule's on and off on the daily anyway. So thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, also click the notification bell to get any and all updates on all the live streams that I do on YouTube, and then also the YouTube videos. I've also got a Discord channel as well. If you check the comments below, there should be a never-ending path so that you can get in to the rules. Make sure you go over the rules and follow all of them. I also have an Instagram account. I don't use it very often, but it's there mostly for everyday things, but obviously I want to place more up on there as well. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.